Uh, Welcome back, and in this video we just prototyped an idea. We experimented a little bit. I created some sample commands of how I want my actual syntax to look like. I prefer prototyping like that. So now that we have some prototypes, let's jump in and make some tests to handle these scenarios. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to create a new folder for this, tests, and in here I'm going to create a new file called, what's my project called? ConvertTo-Breakpoint test.ps1, and in here, I don't need that anymore. Let's do a describe function. Let's do a convert to breakpoint. Yeah, we'll test this guy. And it does not throw. And we'll call convert to breakpoint on its own. So in theory, yeah, this should not throw. But this is a nice test. Not throw when there is no input. You just should do nothing. Then we want one that actually takes an object. Let's say it does not throw when we're going to do like a dash what if on this guy. That's something that should not throw, and I want data equals. But we actually want to have something in here. So does my data still have something in it? I think it might. Data. Oh. Data. Yeah, let's put this guy in the set. Wait, does clip work? I don't know if that works or not. We'll find out. Yay, it does. Okay. I need an object to test with that looks like an error record, but it really isn't an error record. And honestly, I don't care if it's an error record as long as it has the properties I want. So let's do a object equals ps custom object, and then the script stack trace equals a, let's create a here string here. Is that right? And then we'll move all of this up into that. I'm going to make this guy the first line. And let's get rid of a couple extra lines here. And let's make that our object. It's not an equal to, it's actually a ConvertTo-Breakpoint. And there, notice it does not throw. What if it does not throw? Let's make one more of these. Not throw when does not throw with multiple objects, and I'm just going to cheat and make a couple of these. Let's make, let's put, that was almost a big mistake, object. And then data, convert, breakpoint, what if, we will do data equals, right, object, actually we probably do it like this, object, object. Let's do that. I want all three of these to work. And you know what? I actually want this to work if I do oh, let's do this guy like this. Nope. What if dash all, and object should work. What if, and then I want the same thing, dash all, and then I need to name this parameter, don't I? What do we call this first parameter? I guess we'll call this guy input object or error record. Error record. I like error record. In a weird way, I actually need all this stuff down here as well. So data, and this guy array, because that's what he is. Do array, array. Okay, that was all. That's a good test coverage. Like, that's serious testing right there. When I run these tests, they shall fail because command not found, right? So I guess the next thing we need to do is create this command. Alright, so let's save this. In fact, at this point, let's go ahead and commit our prototyping here, okay? Git status, git add, I'm just going to add everything. Git commit message, and prototype and tests. There we go. Okay. So now, at this point, we have our prototype and our tests for this new function. And I have not actually created the function yet. So I'm probably going to stop the video right here, let the stream cycle a bit, and I'll be back in a moment to actually create the actual function. Okay, so let's get back into this. So we're in the middle of creating a new function to take an error record and convert it to a breakpoint. And what we just did was we prototyped it. I created some tests, and let's take a quick look at those here. I can just get this back on my screen now. I have a Pester test that describes what to do when there's no input. It does not throw, in this case, it does not throw with multiple objects. So I kind of got my syntax all defined here, right? Like, I want to be able to pipe an error record to this. I want to support an all flag. I've added tests specifically for the first record. I'm undecided if I want to call this error record or input object. Maybe yeah, I'll leave it. We can solve that later. So positional. So I basically have this matrix of commands here that supports everything that we might want to test. And then I decided to get a little fancy here and support an array of objects. Because what if I have lots of errors and I just want to set breakpoints across everything? So I think what's left for us to do is actually create our function. So let's do that. Let's do a set contents path. Let's call this guy convert to breakpoint, and we'll just create an empty file real quick. Code convert to breakpoint, and this will open them up. Oh, you know what? I did this wrong already. Let's not save that. Move item to PS1. You gotta name these things right. Code to breakpoint. So with this, I now have we got an empty function here. So let's create a function. Function convert to breakpoint. Command binding and param. Let's do parameter. I want mandatory position equals 0, value from pipeline. Is that all I want? Why is that guy? Oh yeah, I don't have my type yet. Error record. Let's call this guy. Let's give him an alias of input object. That just feels right. I'm not going to type him at the moment. I'm undecided if I should. So I'll just take him as he is and process block. Oop. He might come in as array. So we'll do a for each node in error record. We'll do this fancy stuff. Okay. So let's I look at my tests. Here's my pattern. All right. Ooh, I actually gotta split this guy, don't I? Yes, I do. What's the best way to split him? I still have data as my list. I do. Data split. N R? Is that valid? I can't remember. Crap, I gotta figure this out. Actually, is there like a new line? Is there a console? Console. God, I forget what that is. Partial split on new line. What's the best way to do this? Environment. That's what I was looking for. Environment. New line. Okay. Let's go back to you. Node and error record. That's all my nodes. Stack trace equals node dot stack trace script. I'll call it trace. If string is empty, trace not okay. Lines equals trace split off of environment new line. So this should give me a line for each. I should get a line for every single part of my script stack trace. Yeah. Okay. So my lines for each. Ooh. So what I want to do here. So I got options here. I need to have my all switch. So I have. Okay. I'm setting on a plan of action. All right. I have my lines. If I have, like, what do I want to do? I'll parse the first one first. I'm going to do a regex match. If I do a regex match and what? Do I for each one of these guys? I guess I could for each over them. Let's do that. Line list. We do a for each line in line list. I don't like that name, but it'll get me by. Okay. And then if all, if not all, if ps, okay, let me do this again. PS bound parameters dot all break. I should break this one. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I already forgot the parameter. Switch. Nope, not that. IT switch. And then we'll call this guy all. Make a comment on this guy. Sets breakpoints on the entire stack. Error record. Description sets converts an error record to a breakpoint. example. Where's my example at? Prototype. There we go. I like that. Okay, so now back to what we were actually doing here. At this point, I have a line. I need a regex pattern, don't I? Pattern equals, let's go find an actual pattern here. Let's take at something to here. All right. So I cheat at my regex. I do this type of stuff. Right now, what I do is I delete that. I call this guy path. I do dot plus. I call this guy here line digit plus. At is deceiving though. So I can have a script block in here. So let's do at something dot plus. I don't care what's in there, right? At whatever comma space a path colon space line. Let's look at a good pattern. All right, I'm gonna move this guy though. Process begin. I think pattern belongs up here. And breakpoint pattern. All right, so now if breakpoint pattern or if line match breakpoint pattern, yeah, we'll do it on those. We set p. Oh, I need to kind of binding supports should process, right? Now I got to do in here if cmdlet dot should process line it should process line. Now I go set ps breakpoint script is going to be, let's just call it a script, right? Let me just make these match. Script. And now I have a script here at the matches dot script, then line matches dot line, and it's getting kind of long. Let's just go ahead and spot this guy. Breakpoint equals. I know there's a command to do this. I can't remember if I have the session set up for it. So We're going to do that at breakpoint. Wow, that looks good. Okay. What am I missing? Why are you complaining? If right there. What else? If for each process. Why are you complaining? I don't get you. I don't know why I've got this hanging error all of a sudden. I guess we'll track that one down next. Okay. Wow, I think this here is probably a good stopping point. Oh. Yeah, let's make this our stopping point. So, what we have now, what we have is our prototype, and we built our tests, and then we built our function. We fleshed them out super quick. Nothing's tested yet, and I think I'm going to cut this video right here, and in our next video we're going to debug this function to see does it work or not. So let's just let these videos, we'll call this one good for here, and I will continue in the next video. Alright, welcome back. We're continuing our series on building this ConvertTo-Breakpoint function, and what we have now is we just finished just a quick fleshing out the function. I'm actually going to start by walking through this a little bit slower and explain anything that I would have done that I think I might have just sped right past. Because that first video was just me banging out all the code. In this case now, let's actually walk the code itself to see what I did. Okay? So, first thing we got is my comment-based help, right? Always have your help commented. And more importantly, examples. I find examples a great way to help discover and understand what a command does. So I'm very quick to create examples in all of my scripts. We added, in this case, the supports should process. And what this does is it allows me to do confirm and what if type functionality. So then if we scroll down a little bit more, my parameters, what we do is I have comment-based help. This will give me help for this item here. I want it to be mandatory position 0 value from pipeline so that I can pipe stuff into our command. We also have the alias of input object. I don't know if I'll swap these two or not. It's a design decision. I feel like I should leave it at error record, but input object would be just as valid. And then we add this all switch, right? The idea here is if I give it an error record, I think the default that I want is that only the deepest most point of the call stack, like where the error occurred, to set a breakpoint there. But I want to give the ability to actually set breakpoints up the whole stack. And I think there's a lot of value in that. So that's why I added this switch. And, okay. So, this breakpoint pattern. What's important about him is this is regex, regular expressions. And if we break this guy down, and look really close at this part here, what we have is this guy here is like a wild card match, right? this comma is going to split anything here. So any text here, it's going to match against this. This just helps us with the fingerprint. So what I have going on right here is kind of weird. You haven't seen it before. The parentheses makes this a submatch. So I have a submatch right here. That means I can actually reference this guy as match 0 when I'm referencing it later. Is there yellow? Yeah. Reference it as number 0. What I'm doing on the inside here is I call this guy is a named match. That means instead of doing /0, I can actually do .script to access this named match. And then again here is I'm saying give me any character, and give me as many as possible until the sum of the delimiter. And we're stopping this at this colon here. Like this guy is super important in saying this space is basically going to be the comma, the space, and we'll clear that off. Yeah. So the comma and the space are important. Give me anything between the comma, the space, and this colon. And this is going to be named with this script name. Okay? If I come over here to this line at the end, I have the same thing, except here I have my delimiter is anything that says line space. I want anything between here and the end of the line. Actually, not anything. The /D is for digits, so 0 through 9, and the plus means 1 or more. Okay? And again, I named this whole section based off of that word there. So, breaking this part down, we have our process block. This guy is important for our pipeline, right? If I take value from pipeline, I need a process block. So this process will run for every pipeline item. Now, it's almost redundant. I also did a for each over the error record. This allows me to accept as an input an array of error records, and this allows this trick here, where I do both of these allow me to treat my input the same if I'm giving an array or if they give me if it gets piped in. So this kind of like normalizes my input. I don't care if it's an array in the error record here, and I don't care if the array gets piped in on the process. By doing this trick, I handle them both the same, and the code inside down here below is identical. If we keep digging into it, my error record, right, is this guy. This guy's my error record, and I need a script trace property. I know when he exists. He's a string. So I'm pulling him out just so he's easy to reference to shorten my variables. And the first thing I do is I check if not string is null or empty the trace. So if this thing here is null or empty, this continues. What that means is if I have an empty value in the trace, I do nothing. I return no output is given yet. Split. Here we go. So in this case, I'm actually splitting the trace on the environment new line. This is a trick I've used before to, what we're doing with this guy here is on the Windows, and Linux, we're going to get different new line characters, and this should give us the right one for each scenario. So now we get a split if there's a line list. This should, if there's just one item, I don't think there's anything to split, and we'll have a single item in our line list. Now, one thing you may have noticed, you watched the last video, is that I made this variable here slightly different than this one. And this is a trick I do all the time where I do not like the line, my collection, this guy, to be plural of my node object, because it's so easy to have something that says lines, right? And this S is easy to miss. But if I actually use this full word, line list, and I see that list inside my for each, I know right away I have the wrong variable. I've made that mistake a lot. Okay, so then we are matching, we take each line here, and we match it against that breakpoint pattern we looked at before, that regex, right? If there is a match, we're going to process this. If not, we skip it. Then, I'm going to come back to this for that. Actually, we'll use the match part of this. It's used right down here, okay? So the matches script and the matches line align up with these guys right here, right? The script and the line in this regex that named is these guys right here. That's how this magic works. And matches comes from, oh, yikes, sorry. When this match happens, this array this hash table gets created automatically, and that's what also creates these variables on it. And then, before we completely break here, the should process is our confirm. Now, it might seem silly to do a confirm on the PS breakpoint, on the set PS breakpoint. And I'm really doing it because of this command here. But now that I think about it, I didn't need to do that at all. I could have used a mock. I'm going to make a side note to come back and change that to a mock. But I'll leave the what if statement in there because it might be just handy to have. And the last thing before we break is this chunk here, where if not PS bound parameters all. So this is a switch, right? All. If I'm not doing all of them, I'm just going to break out the first time this runs. It might seem weird that I'm actually using the PS bound parameters for this, but I've just had some weird bugs in VS Code that have driven me nuts, where sometimes it provides blanks or falses for things in weird ways. I don't know. It's I haven't got down to it, but for now, I'm very quick to use PS bound parameters to validate input. And then my break, if I scroll up a little bit, right, my break from here should break me out of this for each. At least that's the plan. Whew, that was a mouthful. But I thought, since I ran the code so fast in the last video, that I'd just take a moment here and break down exactly what was happening, since I don't feel like I did a good job explaining it when we did the first session. So let's save this, and then get status, get add, get commit dash message, and created the ConvertTo-Breakpoint function. Let's just git push this. Perfect. Our progress is saved. So right now I'm still working off of master, which is kind of what you shouldn't be doing, but it's so raw right now, I'm not ready to start doing pull requests. We'll cover that in another video. So with that said, I think we're at a good point to start running our tests like I thought I'd do this next time. I see one red squiggly in there that I need to figure out what that is, but I'm not too worried about it. So with that, let's take a break on this video, and we'll pick up on the next one. Okay, I am back, and so we have our tests, we created our function. I did a nice thorough breakdown of my function. I normally don't do that last phase when I'm developing, but I think we should do some testing now. So we're actually going to run this guy for the very first time. So let's see how that goes. Alright, so I have my whole function. Let's load it. Let's start with 5 and see what breaks. Wait a second. Warning. The breakpoint command breakpoint is required by the debug and cannot be manually removed. You must disable by, or you can remove by what? This breakpoint is currently enabled. Get PS breakpoint. Let's just remove PS breakpoint. Huh. I don't know what that's all about. But get help, convert to breakpoint. I've got help. Yay. Examples. And I have examples. No text with it, but we'll take that. Alright. So let's do invoke Pester. See how we did. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We missed something somewhere. Alright, well, we're close. Like, I actually had some stuff pass, but I had something prompt me that I expected would have just... Oh, you know what? Here's that very, very first test. Because remember how I had one that had no parameters at all? He actually expects a... nope. You know, I still keep waiting. Okay. Now let's close the very first test I wrote. I remember I had no parameter. Let's just do null. Let's see if that's a good test. Invoke Pester. Failed. Why did we fail? That's like a lot of... How do I suppress the output, I guess? I need to do that, don't I? Because all that output is just really noisy. I don't think I need it. So why is... Sorry, my VS Code's hanging on me. It does not like it when... Let me just reopen that. That's weird. You know what? We can do that over here, though. Invoke Pester. I gotta import my function first, though, don't I? Something's not right. So I'm getting over and over, right? So I got something looping just a little bit too wild. Cannot. Oh, I don't allow nulls, do I? Well, I'll come back to that one. But it's all that verbosity. And I feel like something's not right here. ConvertTo-Breakpoint on target 2269, 22269. And down here, we're all over the board. So let's debug that a little bit. I don't need that guy. Let's do a new file, debug.ps1. And what I want to do is take my tests. I want this test object. Actually, let's just take this guy here. Now hop over to debug. Alright, and let's just debug into this guy. So I'm going to press F9 right here. Okay. So let's run this and see what we got. So we go F5. We're going to step into F11. Wait, what happened? Not recognized. I gotta run first. Actually, let's change that here. Let's, for now, let's run it right there. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm importing the file and then I'm running my tests. So I'm run F5 again. Alright, I'm going to do H. Step into. Alright, I'll step into F11. F10, F10, F10. Get projection trace. I have 3 lines effectively. 10. Let's do 10. We're not ORMG. Let's split. How big is our split? 1, 2, 3. Alright, that's exactly what I expected. For each line, we do a match. A breakpoint. Should process line 2. Oh, that's right, I was calling stuff multiple times. And then we break. We break. We're actually working. That worked. Actually. That worked. Alright, let's go to breakpoint. Let's open up our first testing file. And let's run this guy. He's going to fail. I expected that. And then let's do the bug. What do I want to do here? Alright, I'm going to just get this guy running. Remember there's a weird nuance here, so I'm going to start this. We're going to hit F5. Right, but we still have an error out here. Error 0. Script stack trace. Right? Let's take error 0, pipe into convert to breakpoint, verbose. Boom! It did that. It did that thing. Let's take that off again and try it again. F9. Cannot run the same command. That's BS. Dot count 5. Alright. Error 0. Convert to PS breakpoint. Or breakpoint. And he popped right in. Boom! Now that's awesome. So, where do we go from here? I said I have to clean up my test. I want to add some verbosity. Do I want the breakpoints returning? I guess I do. It makes sense. Because it's just a set breakpoint. Yeah, I like that. And that's sweet, but I wish I could get VS Code to set a breakpoint even when I'm not in a breakpoint mode. I mean, I'd be in the debugger for this to even work. And that seems kind of backwards. So let me do just a little bit of research on that. We'll come back, I'll clean up my tests, and I guess we need to turn this into a module, right? That's the smart thing to do, is just make this whole thing a module. Yeah, we'll make this whole thing a module, we'll get passing tests, and then we'll get this thing published to the gallery, and we now have a ConvertTo-Breakpoint function, and I think that's really cool, because it all came together really slick, and served as a great example of, or it's a good sample of how I approached the problem, tore it apart, created it, and we'll get some polish on this before we're done here. So I think that's a good point to wrap this video up, and I'll probably be taking a little bit of a break, but we will be back here shortly.